this fake tsunami alert, really it seems like anything that you look at, you can find more and more clues. So here's what I just found. I put in sent by mistake in here, and it matches Barack Hussein Obama in the simple and English gematria. And it equals 23. And Alice in Wonderland. And the secret word. And I think I forgot to tell you that Hartford, I showed you the 90 and 540 and 329, 923 gematria of Hartford, where this story comes from. But one of the things about Hartford that I find it curious, the 329 part of it, and I wish I had a visual for you, but I already took that down. 329 in the Jewish gematria equals Ronald Reagan, mirror, and we know they love the mirrors, prison, frankincense, make it happen, the blessed, Mad Hatter, and Air Force One. And this sent by mistake equals Alice in Wonderland, and I've done a video on the Mad Hatter, and it's on the back. It's sitting on a shelf basically because there's too many videos to put out. But now I want to kind of go back and make sure that I got everything having to do with the Mad Hatter. Maybe there's clues in there. So just wanted to tell you that. Hi. Sorry, stammering. Let's put no real threat in here to the gematria counter. And here we have a 9-6. This is a Freemason number, and it's the number that I've talked about a lot. It was basically a 1860. It's the reverse of free. It's the reverse of FR. In the anti-dates, this would be July 15th, having to do with GO or God. This would be the God direction of this number. And then here we have a 404, and we saw this number active with the Pope. So there is a Pope tie-in here with this. No real tsunami threat. It has a tie-in with the Pope. Also, this 234 is a 9. Let's go down here and look. It seems really familiar. I've kind of forgotten what the 234 might have. Looks like it's familiar for another reason. Interesting though. Okay, this is probably worth knowing. Alert equals 206 in the Jewish, 336 in the simple, and 56. And this is the sacred ratio, having to do with the relationship between phi and pi, and these are both numbers that they worship, and it has a lot to do with their symbolism. So 6 divided by 5 times phi squared is an approximation of pi. But this is probably what we need to know about this, is that in the Jewish gematria it equals sacrifice. And this is what happened in Mecca. If real people actually died in Mecca, it was sacrifice, and it was done by the numbers, and it was done in a certain place. So probably what I should do is draw some lines from Mecca to Vatican. Let's go take a look at that. Okay, well, to this point, let me show you the miles. I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for here, but there is a pi in there, and this is an 813, and it could have to do, if you add all the numbers together, which, you know, it's hard to count this extra 02, but it could be an 816 if this was really accurate, which it's hard to know how accurate these things are. But look at the yards. No, what was it? I saw an 1122. Oh, this is in feet. The 1122.3, which is the skull and bones number, having to do with the Mecca sacrifice right here. So I think that is important. Probably if we looked at the Mecca sacrifice, we could probably find this number here too, the 318. Okay, so this I think is the right way to look at this, because it's 122.21 going the other way. And that's the 33rd. That when you have the 1221 mirror, especially with the 3 2s in the middle, that's the 33rd degree. Because see, if this is a 3 and there's a 2 2 in the middle, and there's a 3 on this side and a 2 2 in the middle, that's a skull and bones going both ways. And it points to Mecca, where right on the skull and bones street we had a sacrifice of 717 people, which is 3 times 239. That can't be ignored. I think people should be interested in this. All right, well, let's take a reading from the Vatican City to Hartford, Connecticut, since that's where this story came out of, and there are Pope numbers in this. But there are tons of faces in here. Here's a little face. Here's a little face. I think there's a person here who's wearing probably a Vatican type robe. Maybe, maybe there's some Vatican type of, those vestment type of things that they wear, halos and that kind of thing. Would be facing northeast. So one thing I noticed scrolling in is that Hartford, Connecticut is on the Sandy Hook, Newtown line that I have here. I don't have too many other things on this line, but I actually don't remember where it goes. It might go, I think it goes somewhere like a pyramid, but I'm not sure. It's been a while since I looked at that line. So we'll have to take a look at that line. Here's our line from Mecca. We're going to go ahead and take their official distance, or their placement. They have the right placement actually. Here's miles. So it's a 301 and a 93. We saw this 93 active with 911, so it could have it. Blind is here in the front of the distance. So I don't know if we're onto anything or not. Oops, it didn't quite get it here. All right, well, Connecticut to the Washington Monument, Phallus of Horus Sr. here, is 303.3 miles. There's your Freemason Gateway. And then in the degrees, we have 230 for your 23 and your 7. That's the month. That's the month in the Roman and the Hebrew count of things. So we just don't want to lose sight of the Bergoglio tie-in here. This equals Blue Apple from the Alien UNICEF advertisement. I did a video completely decoding that. So look for that in my lineup. So we just don't want to lose sight of this tie-in here, because it has the Pope in it, it has UNICEF in it, it has so many things. Washington, this Ronald Reagan right here, this means that's a reference to ISIS, because here's the Ronald Reagan Center right here. It's a throne, and that is the name of ISIS, and there she is right there, overlapping Horus in a meaningful conception type of way. All right, just showing you, since my other ISIS overlays went away, just bringing this back to show you how her arms go right over this. See, you can see this road right here. We'll zoom right in. This is her shoulder, and here's her other shoulder, and here's her breastplate. This is where the ellipse was. This is where the Pope went around and he greeted the child in a Christ-like manner that was so inspiring to everyone who believes that kind of stuff. I kind of feel like, if there's even a little hoaxing going on, or a little bit of terribleness with the church, basically it's like there's poop in the soup. You got to question everything then. Everything. Okay, so here looks like with, sometimes they do, sometimes they do use these overlays when they are designing their streets. I'm not sure, it's hard to pick which overlay they really probably used. So here her head is right over the White House now. I think in this White House, in this picture right here, I'll show you, it would all be facing forward probably. Although, maybe I just haven't looked at it enough. Maybe she is facing to the side. Looks pretty symmetrical here though. So I normally put her face over the eyepiece, like so she would be down further. Let me adjust this. All right. I think that she's pretty well placed here now. And you can see that there's still a meaningful placement having to do with the Washington Monument. This would be looking down the rose line from Jefferson. Oh no, did I mess it up? Looking down the rose line from Jefferson Memorial up through this heading. It's not let me see if I can rotate it from here. This is the 0 and 360 degree heading going north, and it's the 180 degree heading going south. Okay, I think I adjusted her again to make her more proportional width-wise. She wasn't wide enough. This way she reaches out to the river,